Welcome everyone to Belgium. We're here in Spa for the Belgian Grand Prix here in 2022. One of the most iconic tracks and one of the most historic tracks on the calendar. It's 21 degrees here in Spa tonight, so I say we go down and have a look at the track. It's a 7-kilometer circuit, the longest of the calendar, with 19 turns and 2 DRS zones, 10 to the left and 9 to the right. One of the most iconic corners on the calendar. You have Eau Rouge and Radie on turn 2 and 3. So let's hand it over to Jack Marshall for the grid.
Thank you, Sam. We had an amazing qualifying session yesterday afternoon with the two Ferraris locking out the front row grid. Carlos Sainz second and his teammate Charles Leclerc grabbing pole position. That was an amazing lap from the Monegasque. Verstappen P3, Perez P4 with the two Mercedes, P5 and P6. Lando Norris best of the rest as always with his teammate Ricciardo, followed by Alonso and Gasly. Kevin Magnussen P11 with Ocon, P12, Mick Schumacher and Kevin King, 13, 14, Vettel, Bottas, followed by Stroll and Albon. Rounding off the grid we got Tsunoda and Zhou, who got an engine penalty for having to change one of the components since last race.
Yeah, that's quite unfortunate for Zhou. I can't remember. Did he crash or did he have an engine failure? I can't fully remember, but yeah, that's unfortunate for Zhou, for having to change a component there.
Yes, I mean him starting at the back of the grid, it's not great for his race. I'm wondering if he may, like, the strategy may kind of go long on a harder tire to try and push that, but it will be up to the strategist at Alfa Romeo to decide that. I'd like to talk about the Ferraris. They have been going great in this part of the season. The pole and just locking out the grid in general, that's amazing for them.
Yeah, you know, they've had, I don't even know how many 1-2s they've had in qualifying recently, but you know, it just seems like it's been happening pretty much all season. Ferrari just having that one lap pace and just being absolutely incredible over one lap, and you know, Charles Leclerc still managing to close and bridge the gap to Max Verstappen, being just only a few points behind him in the championship now. But yeah, it's, you know, incredible stuff from Charles Leclerc and incredible stuff from Ferrari.
Indeed. Now here we're seeing Kevin King going around the corners as all the drivers warm up their tyres, trying to get as much heat into them as possible. The Red Bulls will definitely want to get as much heat in as possible to get the most grip off the line, so they can try and take those places from the Ferraris in front of them. It'll be a really interesting first corner.
Yeah, we're just going to see the last few drivers lining up for the grid as we go towards the 5 red lights for the Belgian Grand Prix here in 2022. Here we go, it's the 5 red lights for the Belgian Grand Prix. And it's lights out and away we go. Charles Leclerc coming over to cover off his teammate Carlos Sainz. Max Verstappen swerving all over the track to try and go up against Charles Leclerc, covering off George Russell, who's been passed by Lando Norris. Lando Norris jumping the Mercedes. George Russell jumping his teammate Lewis Hamilton, and Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz going side by side into Eau Rouge. Who's going to come out on top? It looks like Carlos Sainz ahead out of Eau Rouge. Charles Leclerc getting just ahead, and Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez now coming in to join the party. Here comes Max Verstappen down the inside of Charles Leclerc, down towards the next turn here, and Charles Leclerc just trying to hold on to the lead, but Max Verstappen pushing ahead, and Max Verstappen takes the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix.
That was a mega scrap between the Ferraris and the Red Bulls. Max Verstappen looked and saw his gap and took advantage of it. Those two Ferraris were squabbling way too much through Eau Rouge, and that gave them a bad exit when Max Verstappen overtook them. He will be wanting to stay ahead, keep ahead to get those points for the championship. This is an amazing start of this race.
Yeah, that was a great move by Max Verstappen into what was it, turn 4 there. But yeah, Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz just wasting a bit too much time over squabbling to try and get ahead of one another. But they've allowed Max Verstappen ahead of both of them.
Yes, I mean, Ferrari will be gritting their teeth because it now comes up to strategy. I'm not sure whether they can catch Max. He's already half a second ahead, so they'll be now thinking about strategy. Even though it's still the first lap, Red Bull has that straight line pace that the Ferrari does not have this season. And I mean, they'll be really wanting to see where it comes out when DRS starts to get activated.
Yeah, I mean, Ferrari is faster through the corners, but it's just a matter of if Charles Leclerc can keep up with Max Verstappen for just one more lap. You know, I believe one of the longest straights on the calendar out of Radion along the Kemmel Straight. But yeah, that's... I think he's just going to have to try and hold on just for one lap longer, but I think Max Verstappen's going to be able to... He's already 9 tenths ahead. I think he's going to be able to break that 1 second barrier, and Charles Leclerc is just going to... He's just going to be left in the dust. Max Verstappen's just going to walk away with this one, I think, already.
Oh, and here we see Mick Schumacher and Lance Stroll battling out. Mick Schumacher going down the inside of Lance Stroll. This looks like a clean move, but Lance Stroll sticking on the outside, going to the inside. Oh, this is an amazing move by Mick Schumacher. That was some great driving, great placement of the car at the end of that long straight, and he just stuck with it, stuck with it, stuck with it.
Yeah, that's great stuff from Lance Stroll, and now we're focusing on George Russell here in P5. Jumped his teammate, Lewis Hamilton, who actually had quite a bad start. I believe Lewis started in P5, didn't he? And now he's down to P7 behind Lando Norris.
Yes, I mean, Lando Norris also had a great start. He started in P7, and like last race, he jumped one of the Mercedes. I believe he jumped Perez in last race in France, which is just great start from Lando Norris. And I mean, he'll be really trying to get those points because they are crucial for the mid-team, as we have stressed so many times. Here we see Esteban Ocon going down the inside of Lance Stroll. Down the long straight, he's getting a better exit, makes him stay ahead, but Lance Stroll is fighting this out. I don't know who will come in going to this final corner. It'll be all about the braking zone here. Esteban Ocon inside, braking us slightly later, but Lance Stroll gets inside of the next corner of the chicane. I feel like that's Esteban Ocon staying ahead, but it's all about Lance Stroll getting back at him. Will he try and go for the next corner? No, he won't. He'll just stick behind in that slipstream and wait for the next straight.
And just remember that that DRS is now activated, and we're now focusing on Fernando Alonso behind Daniel Ricciardo, who's just a sitting duck. He's 1.5 seconds behind Lewis Hamilton, and Fernando Alonso, with DRS wide open, is going to go down the inside of Daniel Ricciardo on the softer compounder tyre, and he's going to get ahead before they even get to the corner. Clean move by Fernando Alonso up into P8.
Absolutely amazing move. I mean, Daniel Ricciardo wanting to get him back for that. Fernando Alonso's, as Daniel Ricciardo was, over a second behind P7, which is Lewis Hamilton. He'll be really vulnerable now to Daniel Ricciardo, and Daniel Ricciardo will be wanting to get him back. The McLaren and the Alpine similar pace this season, and they're both fighting it out for the championship as it is right now.
Yeah, it's been a great title fight at the minute here, but yeah, Fernando Alonso just managing to stick ahead of Daniel Ricciardo, and Max Verstappen pulling ahead of Charles Leclerc. The gap now 1.6. It was just under 1 second, just 2 laps ago, and they're asking Max to lift. It may be a car issue, maybe slightly underfueled and things like that. But yeah, Max, after putting in the fastest lap of the race, has been told to lift, which means Charles Leclerc might have the chance to come and try and push back up to him. I think
Red Bull are just very worried about those tires, because Max Verstappen's pulled a whole second, 1.7 seconds ahead of Charles Leclerc, which is a massive distance, and I imagine the Red Bull's tires are not doing well after pushing so hard. And here we see Pierre Gasly find Kevin King down the first straight. They're going into Eau Rouge, and Pierre Gasly gets ahead. It'll be up to Kevin King to strike back. He is in the slipstream, tucking below Pierre Gasly with DRS. Both of them have DRS. Will he be able to pull ahead? And he goes down the outside. He beats him in braking, but does he manage to put him behind him? And he does. That's amazing from the French driver, Kevin King. On the other French driver, Pierre Gasly.
Yeah, that's great stuff from Kevin King, and we did see a little bit of a team radio there asking if someone had changed his front wing. Maybe he requested to have a little tweak put on before the end of the race. Before the start of the race, but maybe that request just didn't quite get through to the engineers, and he never got that changed. But I'm sure he's going to try and get that in the pit stops to see if he can try and get a bit of a change. And get a bit of pace back that he might be missing at the moment. And I think we might see an update. Yeah, he wants to change the front wing height. He'll want to change. He'll want to change a bit of wing angle. Might want to put the wings up. Get a bit more downforce, bit less downforce. But he is going to come in to box this lap, as his engineer said, and he's just going to hold off Gasly into the final corner there. But yeah, he is coming into the pit now. Kevin King was in P11, now coming in to change his tyres and change his wing as well.
Yes, I mean this is when most of the drivers will be pitting. All the front runners have pitted, one from each team. We have Charles Leclerc, Max Verstappen, and Lewis Hamilton. George Russell, Carlos Sainz, and Sergio Perez have not pitted from the front runners. So it is currently, I think most of them will be changing onto the medium tyres. I can see the medium tyres on the Kevin King. I mean, that's probably the best strategy, but I'll be interested to see what other strategies the teams can come up with to try and put the most out of these cars and tyres. Yellow flag in Sector 2. Here we see, is that George Russell going slow?
That's George Russell going slowly.
Him? Yes. I mean, I wonder, seems smoke coming out of the car. I feel like there may be a mechanical failure for the Mercedes team. That's very uncommon for Mercedes. We haven't really seen that much this season, but that will pretty much be the end of George Russell's race. Even if he manages to fix whatever's wrong, he is, DNFing. He will not complete this race. That is a tragedy for George Russell. He was doing so well going up to P5, but for naught.
Yeah, that's pretty tragic for for George Russell, not for Charles Leclerc, who we are currently focusing on. But yeah, George Russell being in such a good place in this race, P5 for most of the race. But yeah, now it's all come to nothing. George Russell not gonna finish this race, but we're now focusing on Charles Leclerc, who's about 2.5 seconds behind Max Verstappen. So in the pit stops, Max Verstappen actually has gained some time on Charles Leclerc. It was about 1.6, somewhere around that, but it's now about 2.3, 2.4, 2.5, somewhere around there.
Yes,
between Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen.
I believe it may have been even more, because Max Verstappen has been held up by some of those other cars of Alex Albon and all those back runners. But it seems Carlos Sainz has jumped his teammate in the pits. That is an amazing result for those drivers. I mean, Carlos Sainz now into what I believe is provisional P2 right now.
Yeah, that's great stuff from Carlos Sainz, and jumping his teammate and getting the chance to go up against Max Verstappen and go for the race win. And Max having been told to lift, I don't know if it was a fuel issue or if it was a tire issue. But now those Ferraris are free to rein him in and try and push themselves towards him.
Yes, so as it stands, we have Max Verstappen, who is provisionally leading this race, Daniel Ricciardo, Kevin Magnussen, and Esteban Ocon, all on mediums, which they started the race on. All other drivers, I believe, are on the mediums that are pitted for Max Verstappen down. So it'll be really, really interesting to see how they push those medium tyres through this race. We have Charles Leclerc, who's the only one of the front runners in DRS range, and I guess Sergio Perez, who's behind him, but is a bit more behind and won't be able to take advantage because Charles Leclerc has the DRS, and it'll be just going down these main straights as we see, which the DRS will be most crucial.
Yeah, it's going to be really crucial for Charles Leclerc out of the bus stop chicane here to try and get a good exit on his teammate to try and potentially push past him and go after Max Verstappen, or potentially just try and get Carlos to tow him along so they can both try and catch up to Verstappen and go for the race win.
Yes, I mean, in the previous 3 races, Charles Leclerc has won every single one of them, with Carlos Sainz's teammate in second. And here we cut to Kevin King and Pierre Gasly fighting. Pierre Gasly on the outside of Kevin King, getting ahead for the turn 1. Kevin King will be wanting to get back of him. Oh, it seems like they have a problem in Williams with the car of Kevin King. They're sorting it out, but Kevin King has to push now because he is being overtaken by Pierre Gasly, and now his DRS going onto the main straight. This will be, he's going down the inside of Pierre Gasly into turn 3 or 4, I believe that is, with Pierre Gasly sticking around the outside, then the inside, but Kevin King gets better traction going out of that end of that chicane and getting ahead of the Frenchman.
Looked like a little bit of a slip as he was going past Gasly. It might have just been my eyes deceiving me, but yeah, that was great stuff from Kevin King. With that issue with his engine, let's hope that's not a second engine failure for a Mercedes-powered car today, and just another little slip from Kevin King. Maybe he's still just trying to get his tires warmed up just a little bit, just trying to get them in the correct performance window. But yeah, he's in P11, only one position away from the points, and actually after Magnussen, Ocon, and Ricciardo pit, I believe he will be in the points because I believe Lewis Hamilton would have been in a net P6 as Norris locks up, as we're focusing on Lewis Hamilton. Actually, Lewis Hamilton trying to go around the outside. He will have DRS going on Norris, and he does get ahead. That little mistake from Norris has cost him the position, but now Hamilton locks up, gives Norris the chance to try and go around the outside, and he is going to take that chance. They're going to go side by side towards Eau Rouge now. Is Norris going to try and dive down the inside? No, he's not. Hamilton shuts the door on him, and Hamilton stays in P5 for now.
Yes, but here we have Norris getting DRS, which is the long straight. Norris getting ahead with that DRS, has the extra 15 kilometers an hour that he is using to the maximum capacity he has. Lewis Hamilton tries to look down the inside there of that chicane, but does not manage it. Lando Norris, the speed of that McLaren down that straight was legendary.
Yeah, we've seen in Monza last year, McLaren maybe not potentially the greatest in the corners, but they've always had a very slippery car. You know, getting the 1-2 in Monza last year, not just the win, but they got the 1-2. We do know that that McLaren is very fast in a straight line, and you know we've just seen it there, having him get past Lewis Hamilton fairly easily, even with the DRS.
Yes, certainly. And here we are following Kevin King, who's trailing Esteban Ocon only 0.4 behind, which puts him in DRS range of this French driver. Both of them are French drivers, including Pierre Gasly, who's also a French driver. All P10, 11, 12 currently fighting for those points positions. All drivers have pitted so far, with Esteban Ocon on slightly newer tyres than King behind him. This will be really interesting to see if King, with his more worn-in tyres, will be able to use it, seeing he has had more time. But Pierre Gasly is getting super close to Kevin King and looking down the outside, but does not try it on that corner. He'll be looking for the next few corners. He'll get DRS yet again here, but so will Kevin King. It's just to be a pace of how good the exit was of the two drivers. None of them seeming to get ahead of the other, getting the better exit. But it'll be again and again as Pierre Gasly will try again. Maybe not here. He'll be waiting until after Eau Rouge before he tries again. But then there's a long straight where DRS is crucial. I'm not sure whether Kevin King will have DRS here, and it seems like he doesn't. And that will allow Pierre Gasly to get ahead of him. And that's an amazing drive by Pierre Gasly. Focus. And here we get Mick Schumacher, who's getting on this action, going down the inside of Kevin King. Kevin King managed to stick it, getting enough traction to keep Mick Schumacher behind him, but that's amazing driving.
Yeah, and bit of contact between Schumacher and King, with Schumacher diving down the inside. They had a bit of banging wheels, and we have seen the three French drivers all fighting together. We saw them all fighting last time out in France for that 1 points paying position, and currently Ocon's in that position, but we're all seeing all three of them fighting for that 1 points paying position. Again, you know, it's the second race in a row we've seen these three all fighting, all scrapping for the midfield positions. But yeah, this is all great stuff for all three of these drivers. And just to remind you guys, if you want to vote for driver of the day, make sure you vote down in the comments. And while you're down there, make sure you hit the like, you hit the subscribe, and you hit the bell to stay updated whenever we upload a new video, or whenever we upload a new poll or a short or anything like that. But now we see Mick Schumacher trying to go down the inside of Kevin King, all over the back of his gearbox there. But Kevin King managing to defend quite well. But Mick Schumacher, I believe, is going to get DRS out of of the final corner here, and he's going to try and go round the outside before they get to the corner. Mick Schumacher ahead of Kevin King, but he's going to go back down the inside. Great stuff from Kevin King. It gets a little bit crossed up on the exit there, which allows Mick Schumacher to stay with him, and he's going to go side by side with him. And here comes Lance Stroll right up the back of Kevin King as Mick Schumacher gets past him. And this is great scrap from all three of these drivers. And Lance Stroll's going to try and go down the inside, gets boxed in a little bit by Kevin King, and he's going to go try and go around the outside of Mick Schumacher. Great stuff from Kevin King to get back up into B12, but this battle is not over yet.
Yes, we had those two Aston Martins are right on the tail of that scrap between Mick Schumacher and Kevin King. They'll be wanting to take advantage, as we saw. It was unlucky for Lance Stroll that he wasn't able to take advantage, but I feel like on the next few straights we'll be definitely seeing some position changes as those drivers are continuing to strap. Here we see Lewis Hamilton, who's 4 tenths behind Lando Norris. He'll be trying to strike him. He will be getting DRS when Lando Norris will not. So this will be at a crucial time for Lewis Hamilton. Maybe his last chance in this race to take that P5 position, which will give him those crucial extra points, which he will need in these driver standings. He is not getting close enough though to overtake this straight. Will he get DRS once again on this next straight? Will he be able to overtake him? Will he go for the inside or the outside? That's the question Lewis Hamilton would have in his mind, but he didn't seem to get close enough, and maybe that DRS is not enough to get close. As we said before early in this race, Lando Norris and the McLarens as a whole have some great straight line speed.
I did say McLaren's got the great straight line speed, but I think it might have just been a slightly bad exit from Lewis Hamilton, but he's going to get a pretty decent exit out of here, and he's got a much longer DRS straight here to chase after Lando Norris, and he's got the slipstream, and he's got the skill, and he's going to try and go down the inside, but Lando Norris shuts the door. Lewis Hamilton has to stay behind for the last lap. I don't know if he's going to be able to get past him, but here comes Mick Schumacher and Lance Stroll. Once again, they're going 3 wide into turn 4 here, and Mick Schumacher is the one that tries to come out on top. Kevin King, Mick Schumacher scrapping for positions. Sebastian Vettel gets past his teammate there, and Kevin King gets back past Mick Schumacher, but I think this will be the last time we see these four, in fact, scrapping for this position in this race, because we're seeing the final man, the main man. He's been leading this race since before the first round of pit stops. He's had absolutely incredible stuff. And he's just been told to engage low fuel mode so he doesn't run out of fuel. But as he approaches the line, he's had an absolutely dominant weekend. Max Verstappen wins the Belgian Grand Prix. Carlos Sainz comes home in P2. Charles Leclerc in P3 to round off the podium, but we're not done yet. Kevin King, Sebastian Vettel, Mick Schumacher, and Lance Stroll all having a big old scrap here. And here goes potentially Sebastian Vettel down the inside. No, Kevin King going down the outside of Mick Schumacher. What a move by Kevin King up into P12, just outside the points, but still great stuff from Kevin King, and it's going to be side by side on the line.
Congratulations. Awesome drive. Back through the pit lane.
Amazing Sunday, guys.
Oh, that's absolutely great stuff from Max Verstappen. Led this race from like 3 laps in to the end of the race. But yeah, I'm sure he's going to be very happy with that result to extend his lead in the championship. As Charles Leclerc potentially could have overtaken him in the championship, and Max Verstappen just made sure that didn't happen today.
Yes, I mean, he was desperate for those extra points which can keep him ahead, and anything but first place, and keeping Charles Leclerc in second place would have lost him the lead of this championship at this stage, but he has remained ahead, and that will be music to the ears of all Red Bull fans and the Red Bull team in this Drivers' Championship.
Yeah, that's great stuff from both of these drivers. You know, we've seen obviously Verstappen and Leclerc grew up in karting together, so they're very good and very well versed in racing with each other. But yeah, that's great stuff from them, and great stuff from Max Verstappen to take the victory here in Spa. He did take the victory last time out, but you know, it was not the most enthralling of races, if I just want to say. But yeah, Max Verstappen wins the Belgian Grand Prix. Do you want to take this one, Jack?
Yes, here we have Max Verstappen winning the Belgian Grand Prix, as you said, Sam, with Carlos Sainz second, Charles Leclerc third, Sergio Perez, then Lando Norris, great performance getting P5, Mercedes of Hamilton 6, Alonso, Ricciardo, Magnussen, and Esteban Ocon in the Alpine in 10. That's some crucial points for those lower midfield teams, the McLaren, the Alpine. And here we see Max Verstappen, as we were talking before, staying ahead in the Drivers' Championship, 205 points, only 15 ahead of Charles Leclerc. That can change in one single race. That would be super interesting for the races to come in this championship. Stay tuned, subscribe if you want to see Sergio Perez P3, Carlos Sainz and Russell switching places after Russell's engine failure, with Lewis Hamilton, Norris, Alonso, Ocon, and then Ricciardo going up with these points. Red Bull ahead in the Constructors' Championship with Ferrari close behind them. Mercedes in a bit of a league of their own in third, with McLaren and Alpine still close in that thrilling midfield battle. Haas, Williams and Alfa Romeo also in their tight bracket, fighting for the 6th position in the championship, with Aston Martin and AlphaTauri having points, I guess, except AlphaTauri doesn't have points.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for AlphaTauri. They've just not really handled the regulations well this year. But if you've enjoyed it, guys, make sure you hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the bell, so whenever we upload a video, you're right there. And we'll see you next time.